I'm James Taylor.
Yeah.
I'm Decision Management Solutions, and I'm going to talk about decision modeling with DMN for process modelers. A lot of process modelers ask me, why should I learn decision modeling? Why should I learn this new standard, the decision model and notation standard? Why can't I just use BPMN? What's in it for me? And we've worked with a lot of clients, a lot of companies who are adopting this notation. And there's really three things we see over and over again. So the first one is that adopting decision modeling and DMN can really reduce process complexity. What it enables you to do is take all that decision-making complexity that often gets embedded into a process model and model it somewhere else. So you can have a much clearer sense of how your process flows, what the real gateways and branches in your process are, without putting in all these tasks and gateways to try and describe the decision-making. Then you can have a nice clean separation of concerns and have the decision model off in its own model where it can be discussed separately from the process. What that really helps is clarifying the process flow distinct from how you decide which way you're going to go through the process. So you get these much simpler, much easier to maintain, much clearer business processes. The second thing we find is that for organizations trying to get more straight-through processing and apply more smarts, if you like, to that process, more analytics, more business rules. If you can identify the decision points in the process more explicitly, build a decision model for them, it becomes much clearer what you can automate, which ones you can write rules for, which ones you can use data to build an analytic for, how these different technologies can be orchestrated to make a decision that will drive your process forward. So you can make your process essentially smarter by making it easier to identify the places in the process where you can inject those kind of technologies and exactly how those technologies are going to play together to make decisions. The third thing you get really is an increase in agility. You get this ability to apply business rules more effectively by modeling the decisions and using that to frame your business rules. And because of that, you can make the process easier to change. Because when people say, oh, I've got this process and it changes all the time, it's very unusual for it to be the process that changes. What they really mean is they've woven a decision into the process, and it's that decision making that has to change. There's a new policy, there's a new regulation, there's a court ruling, there's a competitor who changes their pricing. And we have to change to respond. But we almost certainly don't really change the process, we change decision making within the process. If we've got it separated out, if we're managing it as a separate model, if we're using business rules to describe that model, then we give ourselves the ability to change that decision making, change how we decide we're going to flow through the process without necessarily having to change the process. And so that gives us a much greater sense of agility because we don't have to retrain people, we don't have to change our user interfaces, we just change the decision making that drives the business process. So if you're modeling processes today, you're using BPMN. I think if you learn DMN, if you learn how to do decision modeling, you can build simpler processes that are smarter and fundamentally more agile. So I think it's a really worthwhile exercise for process modelers to adopt this new notation and become process and decision modelers.